Hello, this is Collection Connected, and I see everybody's doing their 50 comics videos again. I've done one of these a while back, and I just noticed the last couple weeks that people were doing them again, and I also just hit 50 subscribers, so it's a perfect time to do my 50 comics with hitting 50 subscribers and all. So I wanted to start off, I have a large collection. I have over 500 long boxes of comics, so it's difficult for me to even dig through them really because they're a mess. They're all out of order. I'll start one system of organization, get through 10, 20 long boxes, stop, start another system of organization with a different set of long boxes, get somewhere through that, stop again. So being able to really find the books I have, and they're just scattered all over the place. Or, you know, if I'll buy a collection or whatever, that collection will be organized one way and never get fully merged in with my existing books. And so it's just difficult to find anything. But I tried to dig out some things real quick to show that I don't see a lot of people showing. Something a little bit more rare or less common. Maybe other people just ain't into that same thing. So I dug out a bunch of those. So it's going to be kind of a mix. Like this one, I've never seen anywhere else. Actually, both of these, I've never seen them anywhere else. I'll move my wife's Build-A-Bear over to the side. That one's actually been discontinued. I picked it up for her just the other day. So I've never seen these anywhere before. This is the Independent Comic Sampler 1 and 2. They both came out at the same time. As you can see, they're a lot smaller size. And I looked them up online to see what I could find about them, and the print run is less than 4,000, and they were published in 1988. And of course, the one on the right you can see has a Ninja Turtles cover. The one on the left has Panda Con, and on the back of issue 2 has Concrete. And then you can see it's got all these independent writers' names and artists. The best I can tell is it just basically has contact information, how to get a hold of these independent artists back in the day to get a hold of their books. So it was kind of like a nice advertisement for some of these rarer people to get their work out there. And you can see, like, we got the issue number 1 has Keone. It's got Quagmire Giggity. See if there's any other names on here I recognize. Wall Trip. Eastman. And over on this one here, it's got Eastman also. Lard from, he does Fastener, or no, Peter Lard, I think. Quagmire again. So Wolfer, I wonder if that's the same Wolfer that is doing a lot of stuff now, a lot of independent stuff. But I thought those would be awesome to share. I've never seen those anywhere. I picked them up from my friend who used to own a store, and I've had them ever since. I've never seen them again anywhere. This is a J. Scott Campbell, Gwenpool. That was a Paris Comic Con exclusive for the Paris Comic Expo. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 copies. So it's not bad. That's of course it's J. Scott Campbell, so that's a pretty great cover, and you got the Eiffel Tower on there, so that's pretty cool. We got Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, 5th printing. You see down there in the corner it says 5th print. And I think with the Edge of Spider-Verse, they basically just changed the colors on each of the different printings. And I have every printing, but that one's the rarest. The J. Scott Campbell Lady of the Lake, Hero Comics 2014. That's a really good J. Scott Campbell cover. And a lot of these books I'd actually pulled out to get graded at some point, so that's why I had some of them sitting around. As I go through my boxes, I'll start a box of books I want to grade and then pull some out every once in a while and send them in. I'd actually came down to Florida planning to drop a bunch of these off at CBCS, and then they moved, so that quite didn't work out. We got the World War Hulk #1 Aspen variant signed by Michael Turner, and we got 1, 2, 3 signed copies. That's just a magnificent cover. I mean, you can see Michael Turner. It's got tons of the Marvel characters in the background there. So I love Michael Turner. Anything Michael Turner I buy. Some old Wonder Woman here. And these are all high grade. I'd say out of all these books I've pulled out, the lowest grade is probably going to be, in the 8. But I love the Wonder Woman bondage covers. So I buy them whenever I see them, pretty much regardless of grade. It wasn't that long ago that I was at a Half Price Books and I found about 10 of them, all for $5 a piece. And they were all from the same series as this. So I grabbed up all those. But yeah, I love the Wonder Woman bondage covers. This one is my favorite. It's got that bad miswrap. But other than that, I mean, that's a really nice, clean corners. Other than that miswrap, I mean, that thing's going to grade pretty nice. Black cover, Wonder Woman 200. She's tied up. She's in trouble. It's another very nice book. Yeah, these are all getting graded eventually. This one I just was flipping through, and I was grabbing some of the older high-grade stuff that I saw in my boxes. This is Marvel Team Up #3, the 3rd appearance of Morbius. So with all the buzz around Morbius, that might be doing pretty good. Get that graded. I think it's somewhere a 9.2, and the Overstreet's up around 110. So I don't know if GPA or eBay Sold is going for that, but we got the Lady Pendragon foil cover, or chrome, whatever they want to call it. Let's see, can I get it to sparkle on camera? There we go. This is the Dynamic Forces Certificate of Authenticity, limited to 2,500. Makes me laugh when they say limited to 2,500. Because that's not very limited. These are some Lady Death. All Hallows Eve #1. These are it's a signed. It's number 8 of 50. So now there's a limited book. I forget what con I picked that up at, but I got it signed while I was there. So does that have a COA? No. Another Lady Death. This one is signed and remarked. And you can see this is number 7 of 99. So I got that at the same con that I got this one. Just, Lady Death was one of those characters from the 90s when I originally started collecting. They always go on, the bad girl art, blah, blah, blah. Lady Death and Witchblade. I've picked those up ever since they first came out. Here we got Justice League of America 82. This is a tongue twister. It's the first Silver Age appearance of the Golden Age Batman. So, and again, that's a really nice copy. A little, maybe something going on up here. But these are all high-grade books. The Incredible Hulk 126 is the first appearance of Barbara something or another, who goes on to be Valkyrie. And it's another high grade. I got a lot of these from my friend that used to own the comic book store that I talk about all the time out in Oregon. He used to own a huge comic book store out there. And then his wife got cancer and he had to close it down. He sold off a lot of his EC collection, duplicates, to pay for all of her cancer treatments. And then I just go up there all the time and go through what he has, and he's got them priced at 20 years ago, and he usually gives me 50% or whatever off of that. So, I find spectacular deals there all the time when he lets me go dig through his stuff. I'm going to try and go back up there next month. This is Superman 252, 100-page giant, great Neal Adams cover. And these 100-page giants are hard to find without spine splits. I don't know if that's going to come through very good, but that spine is nice. It's got some color loss on there, but for those 100-page giants, they're really hard to find without split spines. So I was happy to get that one, again, off my friend, but I upgraded it to a Mylar. This one would probably need a press. It's got a non-color breaking bend there, and there's another one over here. You get a nice clean to get some of this off the top. I think that one would grade well also. My friend, he was also, big into foreign, first, second, third, fourth prints. He collected all that long before anybody else that I ever knew did. Most people frowned on second print, third print. Foreign comics were definitely not a big thing then, but he collected all that stuff. I got 4 copies of the third print Hulk. Was it 377? I got 4 copies of that off of him. I got the German Supergirl Michael Turner book off of him. I have a Japanese Spawn #1. I have, of course, the French Spawn #1. I got German Ultimate Spider-Man 1, which I graded. That came back in 9.8. I got the Ultimate X-Men German. That one came back, I think, at 9.6. But this is the French Spawn #1. So it's pretty interesting. I'm not sure exactly how rare these foreign books are, but they're just cool to have. It's one of the areas I've started picking up more and more foreign books. Savage Tales #6 is just a great Red Sonja Arthur Sudan cover. I got a couple of his books signed by him. But man, if that guy's not the absolute biggest jerk you will ever meet, just terrible. Excellent artist, terrible person. There was one con that he was at. He didn't like his table space, Arthur Sudan, and he just went and took one of the other artists' tables and set his stuff up and combined 2 other artists' tables to make one big booth for himself, and the con didn't do anything to him. He just went and evicted the other artists and took their tables from them. But fabulous artist. This is back. I got these signed back when Marvel Tales was huge, or Marvel Zombies was huge. So he was like the hot artist. And after I met him, that was just horrible. I never had anything else to do with any of his stuff after that. He was just a terrible person. Frank Cho Virgin Savage Red Sonja cover. I love Frank Cho, and I've been collecting his stuff pretty much ever since Cave Woman. Before he was the big popular artist on everything, I was picking up his stuff. I've met him before. He's funny. Him and Bud Root, both some of the nicest artists you're ever going to meet. I don't remember the person who did this Phoenix Resurrection. Let's see. Who's that name? Has it got a name on there that I can read? Anyway, that's just a fantastic cover. Phoenix Resurrection #4 variant cover. I know when it came out, it sold out pretty much instantly. I just happened to get off work and pop by a shop up in Michigan, and I grabbed the last copy. What is that? Hot Comics. So I got lucky, and that just reminds me of like Mark Silvestri. Very detailed work. It's just fantastic. I love it. Love it. Love everything about it. My Iron Fist 14 for Sabretooth. I think that's going to be about an 8.5 when it goes in for grading. I got that the first time I went to San Diego Comic Con. I went with a list of key books I wanted to pick up while I was there. And it was my really, my first hardcore, comic trip with a plan. I guess my first delve into collecting expensive older back issues on purpose. Usually I just got them in collections, what I found at yard sales. That was the first time I ever went out and targeted specific books to acquire, and that's where I got my Iron Fist, I got my Black Cat 194, my Amazing Spider-Man 300. What else did I pick up on that trip? Amazing Spider-Man 195. I can't remember what else I got, but the Black Cat I got graded. It came back a 9.2. Amazing Spider-Man 300 I think came back a 9.6 possibly. I don't know. I have several copies of it. I have an 8.5, a couple 9.6s, a 9.2 and a 9.4 all graded, so I don't remember exactly what that first one came back as. Carl Barks cover. I mean, that's just a recreation of the classic first appearance of Scrooge McDuck from the Dell 4-color, and just an incredible virgin cover. We got the J & Company Grimm Fairy Tales Ebass Goldilocks sketch variant, playing with the bunny rabbit. I like Ebass. I've met him. I like his artwork. He's an interesting person. I've met him several times. Talked with him on Facebook. I've bought several pieces of original art from him, and if he had a better work ethic, I think he would be a lot more popular artist. There's like, I've been at the con before, sitting in his booth talking to him, and people will come up and they'll want him to do a commission, or just ask him for something, and he'd be like, "Man, I'm telling you, man, I like to party. Like, I know that's not what you want to hear, but I like to party. When I leave here, I party all night, and I sleep a couple hours and come back to the con, so I don't have free time to do anything." I mean, there's been times before that he'll leave the con, be so drunk, and he's fallen asleep with his face in his plate at the restaurant. I mean, if he, I know this in the recent years he started to knuckle down and do a little bit better, but man, he can be huge if he keeps up that work ethic. He's just he's a really cool guy, really fun guy to hang out with. So I threw that in there. We got New Mutants, Marvel graphic novel number 4, the first appearance of the New Mutants. That's just a nice high grade book. Everybody shows that one though. This is what's really cool. I have the entire run of Vampirilla, the original Warren magazines, and these things are just awesome, man. They got some of the great artists from back in the day: Frazetta, Woods, Adams, Wrightson, tons of great artists. But this is Vampirilla number 1 for Frank Frazetta cover. Just immaculate book. I can't wait to get that one graded. I actually have 2 copies. The second one is not as nice of condition as the first. It's got some spine problems here. Still, that's somewhere in the neighborhood of an 8 to 9, but this one, the first one, is truly spectacular, especially for an all-black book. It's got sharp corners. I need to get that graded. And so that, let's see, what do we got here? So that's the first appearance of Vampirilla there. This is Vampirilla number 2. This is the first appearance of Vampirilla's blonde twin sister that never appeared again. That's just you know, these all have great covers on them, magazine size. You can get them in trade paperbacks now, you know, big fat trade paperbacks. This is Vampirilla number 3. Has an extremely low print run distribution on that one. And I got 2 copies of that. And again, that top copy is, you can't see it, but it could definitely benefit from a press right through here. I don't know if that would show up on the camera or not, but that other copy is superb. It's got a little something going on up there in the court. Excuse me. But I need to get all these graded. And I just grabbed the first issues out of the Vampirilla because I don't see a lot of people sharing these very much. You know, so that's just another, that one's kind of in rough shape. At least it's not, it's probably like an 8, maybe 7.5. But these all just have amazing covers. There's another awesome Frazetta cover on that one. Now, we've had these, you know, original Vampirilla was kind of like a gag comedy strip. I think somewhere around, I think issue 8, it became more of a serious set strip, you know, serious comic book. This is another great Frazetta cover. He was just the master. I mean, all these old magazine covers, man, they showcase the art. There's Vampirilla number 8. This is when it became a more serious comic strip. Wally Wood art. This old artwork, man, just amazing. I have the entire run of Vampirilla with doubles of a lot of them. I actually bought the entire run for, I think it was $1,200 back over 10 years ago. So then I'd already been working on the run, so that's how I ended up with so many doubles. And then we skip back here. This is the Vampirilla Special. This you could only get mail away. And this is the paperback version. There's an extremely limited hardback version of this that there's only 500 signed and numbered copies. So this is the paperback, and that's another mint. I mean, that's flawless. I got a lot of these from my friend. He got them. He never read them. This is towards the end of the run of Vampirilla with the, the magazine run was coming down to an end. So I just threw these up here because they're kind of scarce. And again, these are all, you know, I really want to get the entire run graded. I think the majority of the run is 9.0 or better. I was hoping CBCS would start doing it, but they still have not started graded magazines yet. You can see these are Warren magazines, and then the last one in the series, which is also hard to get, is switched over to Harris Publishing for the last issue. And this is the first annual. Again, that's you know, scarce, hard to find issues. Keeping with Warren, we go with Eerie number 2, but this is actually the first book in the first mass-produced book in the series. Eerie number 1 is a small ash can with an incredibly small print run that's hard to find. I've only ever seen one copy. My friend has it. I got to convince him when I go up there in October to sell it to me. Complete my run of Eerie. Back then, you know, people were rushing to get the magazine trademark, so they had to get those ash cans into the publishing office first. And rumor was that somebody else was wanting to use the Eerie title for their magazine, so they had to rush through, and they just threw together a quick ash can book and got it with the publishing office and secured that title for Eerie. And again, I got 2 copies of that, and a lot of these came from my friend. I mean, he bought these off the rack. And some of them, like what you'll see coming up here in a minute, he didn't just buy one copy off the rack. He bought 15 copies off the rack. I mean, he's been a collector his whole life. He's up in his late 70s, possibly early 80s now. He's collected comics his whole life, ever since he was a kid. And so, like this Creepy #1, which is the first Uncle Creepy and the last Frazetta comic work, he bought 15 copies of these off the stand, and he's never opened them. So he gave me one, and I bought one off of him. And these need to be graded. You know, they got a little bindery tear up here in the corner. This one may have is that a little ding on there? It's got a little schmutz going on, something up here, but I mean, they've never been read. He's never opened them. So here's Creepy #2. Another great Frazetta cover. Frank Frazetta. Oh, this one here's got a good Jack Davis cover on it. Those old masters that did work for EC. King Size Invaders #1. This is an Alex Schomburg war cover with Nazis. Alex Schomburg, this is the first work he did for Marvel after 30 years. He came back to work for Marvel. This was his first cover. It's a great condition book. I had a run of Barry Windsor Smith Conan that I had been intending to get graded, so that was sitting out also. This is a low distribution scarce cover, Barry Windsor Smith Conan #3. Again, I mean, hopefully these are coming through on here. Let's see. Because this is Barry Windsor Smith. He's awesome artist. Again, you got Conan #5. I grabbed all these because when I gave them the once over, I assumed they were all 9.0 or better. So I was hoping to take these all off and get them graded at some point. You got Conan #9, and these were just the high grade ones. I have the whole run, including #1 graded, I believe 9.0. So these were just the ones that I figured would grade over a 9 and be worth sending in. Cover 10. Just amazing. Barry Windsor Smith. I have a statue that they did very similar to Frank Cho did a Conan cover very similar to that, carrying the girl over his shoulder. And I got the statue based off of Frank Cho's work. I need to get that out and set it up. So then we got Conan #19, another great Barry Windsor Smith cover. I mean, his run on Conan is one of the best. And then finally, I mean, this is probably my favorite cover of the ones right here, Conan #20, with just the colors. And, you know, he looked more kind of Native American than barbarian when Barry Windsor Smith did him, but still just exceptional artwork. So I hope you enjoyed sharing my 50 books with you, and I appreciate the 50 subscribers. So that's very much appreciated. I hope you all enjoyed. I've been enjoying watching everybody else's books. I'm making a list of what I see that I like to acquire at a later time as I go through everyone else's. And I've really been having a great time doing it. Thank you for watching.